Ms. Chair, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 43, printed in Part B of House Report number 118-242, offered by Mrs. Luna of Florida.
Pursuant to House Resolution 756, the gentlewoman from Florida, Ms. Luna, and a member opposed each will control 5 minutes. The chair now recognizes the gentlewoman from Florida.
I yield as much time as I may consume. The Army Corps has halted beach renourishment projects in Florida due to their perpetual public easement access policy. This is now affecting more than 9 counties in Florida where the Corps has refused to renourish our beaches without stripping property rights from every homeowner, an unattainable requirement. The Corps has renourished Florida's beaches for the past 2 decades using temporary construction easements to proceed with beach renourishment. The Corps is now going back and enforcing this new policy dating back to 1996, but has not enforced the same policy for the past 2 decades. They refuse to address the threat of shore erosion while continuing to watch our beaches disappear before our very eyes. Numerous members of the Florida delegation has reached out to the Assistant Secretary Connor at the Corps to resolve this issue. The unelected bureaucrats at the Army Corps of Engineers has a different agenda. They have stonewalled every single one of us every single step of the way. The Corps has neither followed up nor followed through on proceeding with scheduled beach renourishment projects where we are in dire need due to damage from recent hurricanes. If the Army Corps does nothing, our beaches will continue to dissipate and our homes will be susceptible to destruction. The truth is the Army Corps did not require perpetual easements before, and they do not need them now. The responsibility for the inevitable degradation of Florida beaches, marine life, and economy will rest entirely with the Army Corps of Engineers. I do not know who the Army Corps works for, but it's clear that it is not the American people. This amendment puts the Army Corps on notice for their shameful neglect of Floridians and forces them to get to work on restoring our beaches. I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentlewoman yields. Gentlewoman from Ohio is recognized.
Yes, Madam Chair, I yield to the gentleman from Tennessee and Chair of the Energy and Water Subcommittee, Chairman Fleischman.
The gentleman is recognized.
Madam Chair, thank you to the ranking member. Thank you for yielding. While I can completely understand the frustrations many of my colleagues may experience in some of their dealings with some of the aspects and personnel in the executive branch, respectfully, I think reducing the salaries to $1 is not likely to solve the problem. In fact, it may create even more problems in a challenging environment. So in all due respect to my colleague from Florida, I urge my colleagues to oppose this motion. Thank you.
Gentlewoman from Ohio,
I yield back my remaining time.
Gentlewoman yields back. The question is on the amendment offered by Gentlelady from Florida. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to.
Madam Chair?
For what purpose does Gentlelady from Ohio seek recognition?
Yes, Madam Chair, I demand a recorded vote, please.
Okay. It is now in order to consider amendment number 44, printed in Part B of House Report 118-242. For what purpose does the Gentlelady from Florida seek recognition?
Madam Chair, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 44, printed in Part B of House Report number 118-242, offered by Mrs. Luna of Florida.
Pursuant to House Resolution 756, the gentlewoman from Florida, Ms. Luna, and a member opposed each will control 5 minutes. The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from Florida.
I yield as much time as I may consume. The Army Corps has halted many beach renourishment projects in Florida. It's now affecting 9 counties. Ultimately, in our eyes, this 96 policy is completely out of date and needs to be defunded. Obviously, we have massive concerns to include habitat for endangered species in my community, a number of private homeowners that will have their properties destroyed, and in addition to that, it's going to financially impact our community as much of our income for that area depends on travel as well as our beaches. So I'm asking for support for this amendment. I think that is something that would benefit not just my constituents but many of those in Florida. I yield the rest of my time.
The gentlelady yields. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentlelady from Florida. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to.